Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Budget Yu-Gi-Oh! And so I'm a zombie player, and I want to teach you guys how to maximize your potential with this deck. It is a budget deck, and so it tends to have a lot of inexperienced players who are playing zombies who assume, the deck's not competitive, and that's why people say it's not competitive. But I think it is competitive, and it does really well against the meta right now. So I'm going to be giving you guys an in-depth tutorial on all the plays that zombies have and how to optimize your chances of winning in tournaments. So I'm going to get over these basic plays, and then after that I'll give you guys some follow-up plays and stuff where it's like you have to think a little bit to understand what's the best situation that you can put yourself in based on what's the game state currently is. So, I mean, the standard turn 1 goal is to get this on board where you have Vampire Sucker to draw, Doom King to negate, and to also non-target banish, and Zombie World to change everything to a zombie and prevent tribute summoning from anything that's not a zombie. So this is the standard turn 1 play that you get from 2 cards. So let me just walk you guys through the first combo. The most bread and butter zombie combo, which I'm sure a lot of you already know. So you need to open either Unizombie or Solitaire, and also either Banshee or Zombie World. Well, Banshee is always dumpable from the deck, so you can also have Glow Up Bloom in your hand, so one of these and then one of these. But anyways, just like one of these, let's say you open, just keep it simple and just go Zombie World and then Solitaire. So you can go Zombie World, summon Solitaire, activate Solitaire, pray they don't have Ash Blossom, and then you summon a Unizombie from the deck. And I don't know if it ever comes up, but in defense mode you might as well, in case they stop you and then they try and OTK you or something. But anyways, you go Unizombie. Since you've already got Zombie World on the field, all you have to do is get Glow Up Bloom to the graveyard. So you're going to activate Unizombie targeting itself, send Glow Up Bloom to the graveyard, trigger Glow Up Bloom, and then that will allow you to special summon a Doom King straight from the deck. So once you do that, you can link these two into Vampire Sucker. Right, you go Vampire Sucker, and then you end your turn. And then Doom King will come back during the standby phase, triggering Vampire Sucker to draw 1. So I guess you started with 2 cards, and then that created 3, so you went +1. You got your big boss monster out of the deck, and he's ready to be recurred every turn that you have a field spell out and he doesn't get hit by Call by the Grave. Vampire Sucker, it can come up where if you hit your opponent with Mothman and discarded a card that was useful, you can Doom King come out, chain immediately to Vampire Sucker and banish whatever they sent. So there's a lot of things that can come up, and I'm hoping you guys will pick up and figure a lot of these things out for yourself, but if not, I'll try and help you as best as I can. So that's the basic 2-card combo, and there's other ways to get into that too. So the second combo is if you have Zombie World and Glow Up Bloom in your hands. Let's say you didn't draw the Unizombie. Well, you go Zombie World, you summon Bloom, you link this off into your Link Kuriboh. That will trigger the Bloom, so you can activate it, summon Doom King straight from the deck. And then from here, it's like, if you think your opponent has like a Phantasma or something, maybe you don't want to go into Vampire Sucker, or if you think they have Call by the Grave, depending on, if you know the deck matchup, and some decks don't main deck Call by the Grave. So if you're feeling greedy, you might as well just go Vampire Sucker. Go for the extra draw, because in this deck, drawing is very important, because you want to have at least 1 card in your hand for Super Poly. So if you go Vampire Sucker, if you set the Super Poly and then your Doom King comes back, you draw 1 card, and now your Super Poly's live, and you have down pointing arrows. So it's really up to you to call whether they have it or not. And You know, sometimes I say if you're in a hard matchup, just go for it anyways, because if you don't get that draw, then you're gonna have a much rougher time. So that's the second combo, just in case you don't have the Unizombie. Let's say you have a really bad hand. So you got that. Alright, let's say this is your opening hand plus 2 other cards. People would say you bricked, but the Mothman will really help you. So in this situation, we have Mothman plus 2 level 4s. So I guess depending on whether or not you have Zombie World or Super Poly, you might want to activate or set those, just so you don't discard Mothman. But the thing is, you want to summon Mothman. So you're going to activate some Mothman, discard a card, assuming that your Mothman doesn't get hit. You get summoned, you draw 1, and then maybe your Mizuki gets sent to the graveyard or something. Right, and then you can normal summon the Banshee. And then the reason why I play Dugaris number 60 is in a situation like this, where you don't have access to your Unizombie, and worst case scenario, you can go into that, detach 2. So these 2 immediately go to the graveyard, right? And that's chain link 1, and that's waiting to resolve. So you can actually, you can use your Banshee as a quick effect, activate Zombie World straight from the deck, and then you draw 2, discard 1. And if you draw into your Globe Bloom, you draw into that, you discard it, because your Dugaris, you draw 2 but you have to discard 1. It's a mini Graceful Charity. You can activate your Bloom, get your Balladrock, and then you can link these 2 into Vampire Sucker. And then since you, in this case, you had a Mizuki in the graveyard, depending on what your hand is, if you feel like you need more protection, so you can draw into a Super Poly or Ash Blossom, just activate the Mizuki now, and then summon the Mothman or whatever target. If you want to be safe, you can summon the Doom King so that it's already on the field. But in this case, you want to draw into things as much as you can. So you summon back the Mothman, draw 1, and then your opponent's standby phase, you summon the Doom King, draw another 1. So that's just maximizing the effectiveness of Vampire Sucker, and also using number 60 Dugaris to take yourself from a bad situation where you bricked into a decent situation where you have a chance to actually turn that into a good opening. So that's the reason why I play that card. And then let me show you guys, this is a follow-up combo. So let's say you did your turn 1, your Unizombie into your Balladrock, you link these 2 into Vampire Sucker, and then Doom King is out, right? So after you've done all your drawing, let's say your opponent does something, declare your board. So now the game state is you got Zombie World out, you got Unizombie, Vampire Sucker, and Doom King in your graveyard, and you happen to top deck Gozuki. So what you can do with Gozuki is that since you still have Zombie World up, this is actually pretty good, because you can normal summon Gozuki, activate his effect. So some people might just go straight into another Globe Bloom to get Doom King out. But anyways, yeah, Doom King would come back during the standby. I forgot to mention that. You activate Gozuki, use his effect, chain Balladrock to banish one of their monsters. In Gozuki, you send Mizuki to the graveyard. And so Mizuki, you activate, banishing it to special summon Unizombie. Unizombie effect. You can send either a second Mizuki to your graveyard, or now you can send the Bloom. So I'm going to use his effect, and if you can, if your opponent still has a monster in the field, increase Doom King by 1. So you can keep Unizombie at level 3, and then Mizuki at level 4. You send Globe Bloom, banish, use his effect, special summon another Doom King. That puts 2800 on board again. And then you can synchro summon these 2 into your Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. Right there. And so now, if you destroy their monster by battle, you can special summon something back from your graveyard, and you have the choice of your Unizombie, Gozuki, and Vampire Sucker. In this case, I would probably bring back the Vampire Sucker. Remember, because you banished Bloom, you're still locked into zombies, and that's the main reason why I'm not playing like Link 4 or anything, because I don't find that I need it. But you can bring back the Vampire Sucker after you destroy something in battle. Attack for 2800, attack for 16, and then from there is really up to you what you want to do. You can probably link off these two or something, and then make your Avenged Savior, or you could have done that before attacking, and then there's different ways to do this, but let me just show you guys another combo. Alright, so worst case scenario, you got Solitaire in your hand, and you got nothing. You literally have nothing else, right? So if you're an old school player, maybe you know this, but if you just started playing, you can just Solitaire, activate effect, tribute, special summon Unizombie. Unizombie activates effect, send Mizuki to the graveyard, activate Mizuki, summon Solitaire, and keep in mind when you activate Unizombie, you have to target a monster to increase its level. Level 4. Unizombie's a tuner, so you synchro these two and you make your Psyframe Lord Omega. Now, if that's all you have on board, it's not great, but sometimes you have to do that if you have a really bad hand. But if you don't draw your zombie combo pieces, you're probably going to have a Super Poly or Rivalry of Warlords or something, Called by the Grave, something to disrupt. So you're going to act, during your opponent's standby, you can activate him, send Mizuki back to the graveyard. And so that's good because now next turn, you can just bring back Unizombie. And so here's a pro tip. Some people might think, oh, you want something in Solitaire so that you can pull out another Unizombie from your deck. But actually, I just go straight for the Unizombie because it has higher attack points just in case it gets stopped. At least you got 800 more attack. But you also want to leave the Unizombies in the deck because they're better top decks. So you never don't want to see Unizombie, to be honest. So yeah, now your Mizuki's recycled. Your Omega, how he works is that he has a quick effect to banish a card from your opponent's hand until your next standby phase. So if they activate a card, you can chain him in response. Or if they try to leave the main phase, you can activate him, rip a card out of your opponent's hand so they can't use it. And he comes back during your standby and they get the card back. But it can give you information on what they're playing. It can give you some disruption to stop their combos by taking a critical card out of their hand. So another thing that might come up is, say you've got Doom King in hand, and then you've got maybe a Fraulein in hand or something, and then in a follow-up turn, let's say you got Vampire Sucker out on the field, or it's in your let's say it's in your graveyard, and you just sent a Mizuki there. Or let's say, you had a Mizuki in the graveyard, your Vampire Sucker got destroyed, and then your opponent's got a monster on board or something, and of course your zombie world's out. So the game state would be your opponent has I don't know, whatever 2 monsters. They've got that, right? Well, you can Mizuki, bring back the Vampire Sucker, and if you've got a tribute summon zombie monster in your hand, you can use your opponent's zombie monsters for the tribute summon of a zombie because of Vampire Sucker's continuous effect that no one really notices. It doesn't come up too often, but in the one situation where you can use it to its potential, might as well, because now you can tribute summon Doom King by using both of your opponent's monsters. Does not target, and as long as they're zombies, they cannot respond to that tribute summon. It's basically like using a Kaiju or Sphere mode where it doesn't start a chain, it just happens. So Doom King or Fraulein, you could just keep that in mind. Vampire Sucker has 3 effects, and then people only realize the one to draw is the best one. But it has the effects to force your opponent to special summon from their graveyard. And then also the tribute summon effect, kind of like the Stormforth. So that can come up. Alright, so I'll give you guys some in-depth times of when I actually want to go into Shogun Saga. So, I don't know, game state would be you got Zombie World out, and then you've got, maybe you had a Bigfoot in the graveyard, and then your opponent has, they've got nothing on their field. They had, you're in a grind game, and they have no defense. So if they have no defense, and then you've got Bigfoot in graveyard, you want to go into Shogun Saga just because that's an easy 6,000 damage. So depending on what you had, you can go, if you had if you top deck a Solitaire or something, or you had a, say you had a level 4 in the graveyard already. So follow-up turn, Solitaire's already in the graveyard. You top deck Unizombie, normal summon Unizombie. Actually, alright, this is a game state. So turn 1, you had a Solitaire, you summoned out the Unizombie, and then you triggered your Bigfoot or something. So that's in your graveyard. At some point, your opponent has no resources left to defend themselves. So you want to go for game as soon as possible. And then you top deck the Gozuki. So like that extended zombie combo, you want to go Gozuki, activate effect, send Mizuki to graveyard, activate Mizuki, special summon Unizombie. Unizombie activate effect. So right now you can either send another Mizuki, or you can send the Glow Up Bloom. So let's see. I'm going to send the I'm actually going to send the second Mizuki. Where is it? Yeah, so we go send the second Mizuki. So that's why I like playing 2 Mizuki, because it gives you this option. So you banish Mizuki, special summon Solitaire, and then you synchro these 2 for your Shogun Saga. Shogun Saga effect, since Zombie World's out, Bigfoot is a zombie, you banish that. 6,000 attack now, and then 1,700. If you had any other extender, that would give you 8,000. So this right now, that's only 7,700, but let's say if you had a Doom King or something, because your alternate play would be to, instead of sending that second Mizuki, you could have sent Glow Bloom, banish Bloom, and then summon Doom King. So that gives you a bit better follow-up, or if you didn't get the Ballardrock out, that's a good time to do it now. But just keep in mind you have options. So that's what you can do with the Shogun Saga and also the Mizuki follow-up. And then, hey guys, my bad. I had to re-record this part because I messed up in the original video, but this is how you do the zombie OTK follow-up. That's with the Danger Bigfoot in the graveyard. And then, you turn 1, you did the Solitaire and Unizombie and got the Zombie World out. And you have a Gozuki either from your starting hand or you top decked it. So what you can do is you normal summon Gozuki and then activate his effect, sending Mizuki to the graveyard. So now you're going to activate the Mizuki from the graveyard, special summon Unizombie, activate Unizombie, send Glow Up Bloom to the graveyard, banish as cost, special summon Ballardrock from the deck. So that's looking pretty good already. Unizombie would have targeted itself to increase its level. And then you synchro summon these 2 into Shogun Saga. So Shogun Saga effect will banish the Bigfoot. So increasing his attack by 3,000. So 6,000, 2,800. That's 8,800 damage off of a simple follow-up. So whenever I see my opponent has no defense, this is always something you can go into. just off of one Gozuki, which is kind of crazy. But if you didn't have the Bigfoot in the graveyard, Gozuki would have activated its effect to banish a zombie from the graveyard, and then you could special summon one from your hand. And then the Shogun Saga would have been 1700 attack instead, 1747 and then 28. So that means you just needed a little bit more damage. So if you had basically any zombie in your hand, you could have put 8,000 on board anyways. So just wanted to clarify that for you guys. Let me see, what other cards should I focus on here? So Vampire Fraulein. Let's talk about Fraulein a little bit. This card is really good because it's searchable with the bloom. So let's say you didn't open Zombie World or a way to get to it. And if you know what your opponent's playing, you might end up just setting the bloom or something. Or hard discarding it to search out the Fraulein. So now you won't get OTK because your opponent has Borosaur Dragon, special summon. And you just pay life points to make sure you don't die. And not dying in this deck is very important because you do have good follow-up and recovery if you don't get your normal summons negated or whatever. And then I think we need to talk about Avenged Savior a little bit. So if you got Zombie World out, if you're going second, this is a pretty good card because you can just let's say you got Unizombie, you normal summon, and then they got like Ash Blossom or something, effect Vigor, or Impermanence, something to stop your Unizombie. If you got a follow-up Danger, say you get the Mothman out, you can either go Zombie Necro and hope that they can't stop your attack, but your alternate play is because you really want to get Ballardrock out. You're going to link these two off into Avenged Savior. Avenged Savior attack. So depending on what their field looks like, if they have something with under 1700 attack, then you can send the Globe Bloom. If they have something with under 3200 attack that you need to beat over, you just send the Ballardrock. So Avenged Savior will reduce their monster's attack by the monster you send times 200. So if you dump the bloom, you can immediately send it to grave and activate to special summon Doom King, and then now the Doom King can attack. And if you have some follow-up monster that you can activate, you can use Doom King to banish. So that's the applications of Avenged Savior in zombies, because you can turn a pretty sticky situation into accessing your Ballardrock. So all these tools really just help you get your combo going, and everything in here is in here for a good purpose. Some other things, Doom King's out on the field. Let's say you don't have Zombie World because they destroyed it or something. If you activate Ash Blossom, you can chain Ballardrock to it and banish one of their monsters. If your opponent activates Ash Blossom, you can use Doom King to negate it. So if you have Doom King on the field, your Unizombie will be protected from Ash Blossom. So that's just something to keep in mind. There's a lot of little things that pop up when you play this deck for a long time. And then Gozuki's other effect. Let's say if you got a Doom King in your hand, you send Gozuki to the graveyard. So you can send it straight from the deck, you can summon it and then link it off, you can discard it from your hand. All those ways will trigger Gozuki. He just has to hit the graveyard. You banish another zombie monster. So if you had like a zombie rollout, you could banish the dangers, which is usually the best thing to do, because the only real things that I want to leave in the graveyard are either Danger Bigfoot, your Unizombie, you don't care about the Solitaire, the Banshee and the Mizuki. You can banish the Ash Blossom. Yeah, so basically you just, any of the zombies or monsters that are not essential, you just banish them for Gozuki's effect. Special summon Doom King from the hand. So that's another way to get him out of the hand. Talk about Super Poly maybe. So Super Poly, this card is just so good in this deck. Super Poly just always bring out Dragon Necro. So if you're going second and you got Zombie World and then Super Poly, you activate Zombie World. If they have no response to that, Super Poly, and then you clear 2 monsters, summon out Dragon Necro. Sometimes if you don't have Zombie World, you just gotta go into the Starving Venom. And or if they try and negate Zombie World, then sometimes you gotta use some other things to bait things out, and then you can go into that. But this is, you always want to see this going second. And some other things. Call by the Grave, you usually want to see that going first. Rivalry, you want to see that going first. So the ideal situation is that you got Zombie World, Rivalry, or Super Poly, plus your Unizombie. So that, and then one of these. That's your ideal 3-card combo to disrupt your opponent. Because then you end on Ballardrock plus Vampire Sucker. With a set Rivalry, it's devastating. Or a set Super Poly, which since you drew one off Vampire Sucker, this is always going to be live. However, just keep in mind, when you go Vampire Sucker and you go Doom King, that's 2 darks, and anyone who's playing Super Poly is going to just make a Starving Venom on you. So in that case, you might want to just activate Rivalry as soon as possible during the draw phase, and so they have to immediately activate Super Poly. But usually if they don't do that, then I would wait for them to normal summon once, activate this, and then now they're locked into zombies. So if they were not prepared for it, they are going to be pretty sad about that. And if they don't have a Twin Twister or something, I mean, if they had a Twin Twister, they will have used it immediately, so you shouldn't worry about that. Yeah, the only thing is, like, Call by the Grave might hurt, but then you would still have that as a backup. So it's a lot of things that can help save you, and Super Poly plus Rivalry are key essential cards. Another thing that comes up that I think I should mention, because people always get caught off guard. Let's say you got Zombie World up, and then you've got a Necroworld Banshee in the graveyard. So your opponent summons Nightmare Phoenix or something. They say, okay, destroy Zombie World. And then that's Chainlink 1. Chainlink 2, activate Banshee. So you're going to activate another Zombie World straight from the deck. So this gets destroyed, and then you activate another one. The Nightmare Phoenix will miss its target. And so now your Zombie World's still on the field. Just keep in mind, if you have Banshee in the graveyard, it's a quick effect. It's very underrated because it basically dodges any removal. So if your opponent only has one way to get rid of it, it's staying up for another turn. That's just how it's going to go. And then another thing you want to remember, you can activate Doom King if your opponent has a field spell that's not Zombie World, and then he'll special summon himself back. Another thing to remember is Doom King can trigger to any monster. He can chain to any monster that is a zombie when it's activated. So if your opponent activates like Artifact Lancia, Artifact Thaler or something in the hand, it's not a zombie, so you can't chain to it. Ash Blossom is a zombie, so you can chain to it. And then, yeah, there's a lot of things, like anything on field or graveyard, you can definitely chain Ballardrock. If you got Ballardrock on the field, the reason why this deck is still good, even if you're going second, is that you can hard trigger Ballardrock on your turn when you activate a zombie. So if you've got a Mizuki in the graveyard, you can banish it, chain Ballardrock, banish one of their monsters, special summon whatever you got in the graveyard, and proceed to run them over. So, I forgot another thing that's important to remember doesn't come up all that often, but Vampire Fraulein, you have to summon in defense mode, but on the follow-up. And then from there, it has a Go-Yo Guardian effect, so you destroy a monster by battle, you special summon it back at the end of the battle phase. And then since Fraulein's in attack mode, I would definitely just try and link it off or something, or synchro. Just so you don't have to keep paying life points to protect yourself, but that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you guys learned something. If you found any tips useful, be sure to hit the like button and give me a subscribe. I definitely am looking out for you zombie players. Sorry this video was a little all over the place, but I kind of just picked out things as I thought about them while doing this video. So be sure to keep following the channel for more content. And hope you budget players are doing well. So see ya.